Welcome to the Professional Installer's Guide to Installing SunTouch UnderFloor. SunTouch UnderFloor is used to retrofit homes for electric floor heating. It is intended for installation under a wood subfloor between joists in residential and light commercial installations. Here's what a typical installation looks like. Underfloor is stapled to the sides of floor joists 2 inches below the subfloor. An air gap is left between the mat and the wooden subfloor. Fiberglass insulation is installed below the mat. Underfloor is best suited for stone, tile, or laminate coverings. Before getting started, pay attention to these cautions. Don't cut or modify the mat in any way. Don't remove the foil radiator or modify it. Don't repair the mat. Instead, call for instructions. Don't install one mat on top of another or overlap the mat onto itself. This causes dangerous overheating. Don't leave the mat rolled up or bunched up in the joist bay. Don't run mats across joists. Don't forget to install the sensor. Don't allow objects to come into contact with the foil radiator of the mat. The first step of your project is determining how much underfloor you'll need. Inspect each joist bay and measure the length of open areas where mat will be installed. Select the appropriately sized mats from the manual. Underfloor mats are sized to fit between joists of common dimensions, 12, 16, and 19.2 inches. SunTouch UnderFloor comes in 120 or 240 volts. Use the 240 volt version for larger projects of over 190 square feet. When considering how to arrange your underfloor mats, keep in mind where you can place a steel junction box to which you can route the power leads. Locate your control box on an interior wall 60 inches above the floor. Keep in mind that you'll have to run Romax to or from the junction box below. The control electrical box may be a single gang plastic deep box, but electrical code requirements may require a larger size. You'll need a basic floor sensing control like this non-programmable FloorStat 550 or the one we'll be showing, a programmable FloorStat with a 7-day schedule to maintain the desired temperature. For larger areas with multiple rooms, consider this GroupStat floor sensing thermostat with remote location control. First, use a quality digital multimeter to check the performance of the mats and sensor wire. Make sure the resistance between the black and white wires matches the resistance on the label. There should be no resistance between the black and green and white and green wires. Write down your readings in your manual's resistance log after each test. Each control includes a floor sensor, which is typically installed before the mats. The manual describes 3 methods for installing the sensor. We'll be demonstrating method 1. Drill a 1-inch hole at an angle into the subfloor, directly above where the mat will be installed. Insert the sensor and seal it with adhesive. Before installing the mat, inspect all joists for nails, screws, or other sharp objects. First, measure between the floor joists where the mat will be installed. Then, measure the width of the mat. The difference between these measurements determines how much mesh is available for stapling to the sides of the joists. If the mat begins near a rim joist, measure 6 inches out. Measure 2 inches below the subfloor and mark the joists on both sides of the joist cavity. Hold the mat up along one joist and staple the first 2 feet of the mesh along the 2-inch mark. At the other end of the mat, hang the mesh on a nail 2 inches below the subfloor. This will make it easier to install the rest of the mat. Continue stapling the mat mesh every 4 to 6 inches along the 2-inch mark. Raise the mat to the other joist and staple along the 2-inch mark. Using the same techniques, staple up the other mats. Note the gap left on both sides of the obstruction. Once all the mats are installed, perform another resistance check of your white and black wires with your ohm meter. Connect the power leads in parallel with the Romex cable. All the green wires join together with the bare ground wire. All the white wires from the mats join together with the white load wire. All the black wires from the mats join together with the black load wire. After installing the controller, briefly energize the system to test the components. Without insulation, the mat will not heat the floor. The mat, however, should begin to warm within 1 to 2 minutes. If you don't feel any heat, turn off the system and try to find where the wire might be damaged. Call toll-free 888-432-8932. Take pictures before installing insulation. Install R13 to R19 insulation below the mat. Secure it in place with rods, staples, or other methods. Refer to the manual for more details on how to install the insulation. Remember, this video is not a substitute for the underfloor installation manual, which has additional details and troubleshooting guides to help you do the job right the first time. We wish you a successful installation, and don't hesitate to call if you have any questions.